Vamos a ver este vídeo que me han dicho. Venga, va, vamos a reaccionarlo. Sí, sí, ¿quién es? A ver, infartos a domicilio. Vamos a ello. Dicen que es el restaurante más controversial de América. Vamos a ver por qué.
When John Basso first opened the Heart Attack Grill, he had
Ataque al corazón grill se llama. Este tío es buenísimo, tío.
first opened the Heart Attack Grill, he had no idea that serving the world's unhealthiest menu would come with so much controversy, countless lawsuits, an avalanche of bad press, and
Innumerable avalancha, o sea, demandas y avalanchas de mala prensa, ¿ves?
multiple heart attacks on the premises. Prior to opening the
Múltiples ataques cardíacos. ¿En serio? ¿Esto es verdad? Esto no puede ser verdad, amigos.
Heart Attack Grill in 2005,
¿Cuántos ataques ha dicho? ¿De 2005?
Basso owned 3 different exercise gyms over a 12-year period, where he'd advised clients on their dietary and exercise needs, as well as on techniques of caloric reduction. However, he felt this was an untruthful line of work, stating, "It's disgusting because you're promising people things that are outside their genetic possibility. Instead of being a slimy, crooked, dishonest peddler of health and fitness services, I would actually launch a hamburger concept that would..."
O sea, que ha pasado de ser fitness a vender hamburguesas que dan infarto. Hostia, qué locura, tío.
Be absolutely honest, and that's the only guiding principle.
Hey, this is bad for you, and it's gonna kill you.
The first Heart Attack Grill in Arizona
Es su máquina. Está en Arizona.
featured a front door sign reading, "Caution, this is
Perdón, precaución. Este establecimiento es realmente malo para tu salud. Coño.
establishment is bad
¿Cojones?
for your health," before they'd later add cash only because you might die before the check clears.
No puede ser, no puede ser, no puede ser que ponga no puede ser que ponga esto, tío. Solo pagar en efectivo porque podría morir antes de que pagar, de liquidar su cuenta. Hostia, qué fuerte, tío.
Inside, they'd proudly display the catchphrase "taste worth dying for."
No me lo puedo creer, el sabor por el que van a
However,
morir.
the most insane piece of signage was without a doubt this reading, "Anyone over 350
¡No! ¡No! ¡Hostia, yo comería gratis ahí! Hey tú, si tú, ahora que estás viendo mi vídeo, ¿te quieres poner todo fuerte? Pues usa mi código de descuento Antonio G en Procis, que te pongo el link en la descripción para entrar. Y puedes comprar todo tipo de suplementación deportiva y demás cosas. Aprovechate y de verdad, tiene unos descuentazos muy interesantes con mi código Antonio G. Échale un vistazo, ¡vamos!
pounds eats for free,
¡Hostia, tío! O sea que si pesas más de 100... son 180, 160, 155 kilos, comes gratis.
all day, every day, unlimited, with the only rules being no taking food to go, no sharing with others, and does not include beverages.
La única que no llevarte la comida de allí, no qué, no meter bebidas de otro lado.
Although this wasn't the only unlimited
Joder.
service offered by the restaurant.
Instead of a salad bar, there's an all-you-can-eat flatline
Patatas ilimitadas. Es el puto paraíso de los gordos. ¿Qué es?
fries bar.
To serve the free meals, Basso took a tip
Estoy flipando. Es el puto paraíso de los gordos.
from Hooters by hiring a bunch of sexy nurses, with a theme of honesty also extending into the job application process, with questions such as whether the applicant has an innie or outie belly button, who would they have a hot one-night stand with, their opinion
Aventuras de una noche. ¿Pero qué cojones? ¿Qué cojones? ¿Pero qué es esto, tío? ¿Qué estoy viendo?
on certain conspiracy theories, and a comment stating no one gives a damn about your academic achievements, but if you want to bore us with them, go right ahead. As the head of the restaurant, John spends every day dressed as a doctor, stating, "We promote nicotine, alcohol, caffeine, fat, cholesterol, sodium, all the building blocks of a quality, healthy, good time," with these insane statements leading to his first appearance on a local news station.
There is a restaurant in Tempe where the food is so rich they call their big burger the quadruple bypass. Not every
La hamburguesa que se llama cuádruple bypass. No, no, no puede ser.
everybody thinks that's funny, least of all the Arizona Board of Nursing.
The news story then stated that the American Nursing Board had received 5 or 6 complaints about them calling their waitresses nurses. However, 5 or 6 complaints was a small price to pay, given the story was basically free advertising.
All right, so if you want a bypass, of course the good kind, now you know where to go. It's called the Heart Attack Grill.
This then turned
No me lo puedo creer. ¿Qué es esto? ¿Qué locura?
into further news coverage, where John explained the other ways in which the restaurant might kill you.
We don't do Diet Coke. We don't do light
No hacemos Coca-Cola Light, no hacemos cervezas
We don't even
ligeras,
provide lettuce
ni siquiera ofrecemos lechuga.
on our burgers.
with the unique approach beating all of their competitors.
John, this is
Y el tío sale como si fuera un médico. Este tío se ha pasado el juego, hermano. Y sale como si fuera un médico y ella una enfermera. Yo me estoy quedando loco, Me estoy quedando loquísimo. Esto es maravilloso. Este es un ser de luz. Me encanta. Esto sí que es llevar el marketing a otro nivel y no lo que hace el Yados.
creating a firestorm. I have the feeling this is just what you wanted.
Well, I can't say that I don't enjoy the publicity. It definitely does pack the seats in the restaurant. We've been so lucky as of recently, our web traffic exceeds McDonald's.com.
After noticing that media stories
Que su web supera la de McDonald's de visitas, joder.
help the business grow, that attempt to set the Guinness World Record for the world's unhealthiest burger, achieving such with
La hamburguesa más calórica del mundo,
the
¿no?
9,908
10.000 calorías. ¿Esto qué es, tío? ¿Qué tiene esa hamburguesa, hermano? ¿Un buey entre pan y pan?
82-calorie quadruple bypass burger, although this gluttonous piece of food will be served with a side of tragedy. The Heart Attack Grill had introduced a spokesperson named Blair River, who at 6'8", 570 pounds appeared in all of the restaurant's ads.
I'm up another few inches. Who needs these old pants? I could eat for free.
In a 2011 news report, Blair talked about feeling incredibly healthy,
This is good stuff. Everyone
Ah, ese fue el que le ha dado un infarto a ese hombre.
should be modern size like myself.
however, he passed away before the interview even aired.
Sadly, we now know how long that was. Blair died last week at the age of 29. His family says the cause of death was pneumonia.
Even in death, the Heart Attack Grill maintained their brutally honest branding.
Hostia, tío.
Had he have been thinner, he most probably would have survived that pneumonia.
Aren't you glorifying obesity, which
Absolutely.
obviously kills?
Absolutely.
With Basso taking this even further in a different interview.
If they do die here, I'm not going to lie to you. That's great for business. I'll say it again.
Escúchame. O sea, está diciendo que le va a ser sincero que si alguien muere en su local, no, es lo mejor que le puede pasar al negocio. A nivel de marketing, este es un loco, me maten,
Death is great for business at the Heart Attack
La muerte es genial para el negocio en general.
Grill.
Although
Esto, escúchame. Exactamente, iba a decir eso. ¿Cuánto de legal es eso?
the media's goal of discrediting the founder only did the opposite. It's actually refreshing to see someone so painfully honest. The owner is great, he makes no apologies nor should he. You can't blame him for people doing this to themselves. It's impossible to hate this guy because he's being 100%.
La verdad que vamos a ser sinceros. No, pero vamos a ser sinceros. ¿Qué le criticas a ese hombre? Él te pone una pistola para que compre su comida. Pensadlo. No sé qué crítica puede recibir. Que habla demasiado real. Sí, pero sinceramente, él no te lo puede poner más claro. En este restaurante no es bueno para la salud. O sea, no es sano. Él corres un riesgo de que te dé un infarto. O sea, el tío te está diciendo la verdad. Exacto, no veo a nadie quejándose de McDonald's y Burger King, Juan de. Y es igual o peor. Sinceramente. No veo a nadie quejándose de Burger King. A nadie. Con la comida de mierda que tienen esos dos sitios. Que es que vaya comida de mierda. Que por cierto, se crearon como un sitio de comida rápida y económica. Compadre. ¿Quién se queda? ¿Quién se sacia con un menú del Burger King? ¿Quién se sacia con un menú? Porque yo no. Porque yo no, vamos. Así que ya de barato, poco. Ya te gastas 20 pavos en 2 menús. Entonces, encima, luego me duele la barriga. Cada vez que como McDonald's o Burger King, la barriga me duele lo más grande, tío. ¿Sabes?
Honest. In a different interview, Basso showed his more compassionate side by stating, cynical people might think this, River's death, is funny, but people who knew him are crying their eyes out. There is a lot of mourning going on around here. You couldn't have found a better person. Even if he was skinny, we would have given him the job. We would have just put a fat suit on.
Yo creo que esto si pasase en España, le echarían las culpas al dueño, literal, Hasta yo creo que le cerrarían el local incluso, con todos los malitos de baba que hay en este país.
Him. He just had personality, as did the restaurant's next spokesperson, Ernie Hart, who wouldn't last long either, although for a slightly different reason. In October 2011, Basso moved the restaurant to the land of indulgence, pleasure, and poor short-term choices, Las Vegas. The new and improved restaurant featured a public electronic cattle scale, as well as new signage reading "Fighting Anorexia."
Peleando contra... ¡Dios! ¡Dios! Peleando contra la anorexia desde 2005. Este es un hijo de puta, tío. Este es un hijo de puta, tío. Este es un... Dios, 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 Dios. No puede ser, tío. No puede ser esto normal, tío. Pero Dios mío, Dios mío. ¿Cómo es posible este suceso? ¿Quién se puede comer esa hamburguesa? Mirar esa hamburguesa, mirar el tamaño de esa hamburguesa. Pero que hacen falta la boca de un hipopótamo así. ¡Ah! Para comerse esa hamburguesa, que eso es imposible de morder. Es imposible, tío. Mirar ese tamaño. ¿Qué cojones?
Since 2000.
No, no, esto es un peso. Esto es una báscula. No.
2005, and send hate mail to, followed by their...
Esto es una báscula, aquí te pesas. ¡Hostia, qué guapo, tío! ¡Me encanta! ¡Me encanta! ¡Hostia, tío! ¡Me encanta!
Address. The new location also led to a brand new slogan.
Remember, the calories you eat in Vegas stay in Vegas.
As well as an instant increase in
Recuerda que las calorías que comes en Las Vegas se quedan en Las Vegas. Este es un cabrón.
business.
We've both doubled in terms of money, in terms of square footage.
However, the craziest change was without a doubt their menu.
Mirar quién se puede comer eso, tío. Cuádruple bypass, mirar eso, tío. Mirar eso, tío. ¿Quién se puede comer eso? O sea, quiero decir, sí, te lo puedes comer, pero lo que es es imposible. Es imposible.
Despite their quadruple bypass already holding the record for the highest calorie burger, the Heart Attack Grill then doubled their invention, creating the
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
the octuple bypass burger,
6,
which featured
7,
8 patties, 40 pieces of bacon,
8
and 19
carnes. 8 carnes, 20.000 calorías. ¿Qué cojones? No. No, 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 no. No, hombre, no, ¿qué es esto? ¿Qué es esto? ¿Qué es esto? Esto no puede ser, hombre, ¿pero qué es esto?
1,900 calories. At around the same point in time, the Heart Attack Grill updated their website to include free video and images for the press, where the motivation for the octuple bypass burger became pretty obvious. They were trying to generate media attention.
Pero eso no puede estar... ¿Qué es esto, tío? ¿Qué es esta cosa naranja? ¿Alguien me dice qué es esto? ¿Qué es esto naranja? ¿Qué es eso, tío? A mí esto no me llama, a mí esto no me gusta,
Attention, and this is exactly what they got. The new burger led to over a...
¡Ah, que se la ha comido este! ¡Anda, mira quién está aquí! Cuando era flaco.
100 million views worth of exposure on YouTube as different content creators visited the restaurant to see if they could eat it. Those who could, such as Matt Stoney, were given a ride out of the restaurant in a novelty wheelchair, although there were others who were forced to leave in an ambulance.
A customer at the Heart Attack Grill was rushed to the hospital after eating a sandwich called the Triple Bypass Burger.
In February 2012, an article was published titled...
Tío, pero la gente también está, te digo una cosa. Es que, ¿cómo le echáis las culpas a ese hombre? Decidme. Él crea la hamburguesa. Pero hay que ser muy tonto, hermano, para ir a comerte eso, tío, y saber que no vas a salir bien. Sabes que no vas a salir bien. Esto es así, amigos. Sabes que vas a salir mal. Eso no es disfrutar de la comida. A mí me gusta comer y me gusta disfrutar de la comida. Pero hacer esas gilipolleces, a mí eso no me llama nada la atención. Sabes que te va a pasar algo, hermano. No te voy a decir que te vayas a morir, pero te va a doler.
Man has heart attack while eating at the Heart Attack Grill, which is followed by another article only 2 months later reading, Heart Attack Grill lives up to its name again this week when a woman collapsed in their Las Vegas restaurant. This marks
Que una mujer se colapsó, no puede ser, tío.
the second person
¿Pero qué es esto?
to fall victim to their horrifically caloric food in less than a year, with the Heart Attack Grill responding in the most brand appropriate way, by bragging about it on their website. 2 ambulance departures in less than 60 days left an indelible mark on the Heart Attack Grill's public image. Dr. John delivered a clear message to the media that such tragedies shall inevitably continue.
O sea, que orgulloso cuentan que ha ido 2 ambulancias en los últimos 2 meses. Esto es una máquina,
due to having clientele which he refers to as being the avant-garde of nutritional risk takers.
Did that heart attack pad my wallet with money? Absolutely. Did I enjoy that? Absolutely.
Although this is still nothing compared to what would happen 1 year later. The Heart Attack Grill had a new unofficial spokesperson named John Alleman, who was recognized as the restaurant's most loyal customer. He never missed a day, even on Christmas, Basso said. People just loved him.
O sea, tenía un cliente tan fiel que comía hasta en Navidad ahí. Esto es impresionante, hermano. No, esto es impresionante, ¿eh? Déjalo de rollos.
He connected with people in a real way, although all of this changed on the 11th of February 2013. After chowing down on his daily feed at the grill, John Alleman suffered a heart attack and died while waiting for the bus at the front of the store. This
que se murió después de haber comido un infarto. Normal, alimentándose de eso.
led to Basso's craziest PR stunt to date.
They'll say it's grotesque. They'll say, how can you keep the man's cremation here?
With Basso keeping the cremation inside the restaurant as he wants you to know his food kills so that maybe you'll stop eating junk. This man is willing to sacrifice his reputation and maybe even his humanity to try and make the world a healthier place. I respect him for it. Basso believes the restaurant helps customers to reflect on their own choices, having stated anybody who's over 350 pounds gets on that scale. We applaud them like the big sumo wrestler they are, treat them like a champ, make them feel good for that moment, give them free food all they want. But these people go home at night and they ponder that and say, wow, why did I just get free food and have the whole restaurant applauding for me? Because I'm a freak, plain and simple, before adding, I'm running an obesity intervention.
O sea, que hizo lo de la idea de meter a las personas de más de 155 kilos, darle comida gratis para que luego se vayan a casa a pensar por qué le han dado la comida gratis.
And I think it works. I really do. Everybody should check out our Facebook and see a lot of people say, hey Dr. John, I've lost 82 pounds since the last time I was in. It's the X Factor.
Hostia, que dice que le llega un mensaje diciendo que ha perdido 82 libras, o sea, 40 kilos casi, desde la última vez que estuvo. Porque claro, le hace pensar el motivo porque del buen trato, ¿no?
Something that snapped in that person that said, wow, I'm gonna make a change in my life, and they did, and that's fabulous. With this sentiment also showing up in the YouTube comments. The Heart Attack Grill restaurant has motivated me to take care of myself, stick to my diet.
Me ha motivado a cuidarme, a hacer una dieta.
The namesake restaurant actually sends a very positive message. If you don't take care of yourself today, you might find yourself eating a free meal
Si no te cuidas hoy, es posible que te encuentres comiendo
at my restaurant in the not so distant future, because everyone over 350 pounds eats for free.
No, si al final va a ser una manera de concienciar a la gente.
And therefore, Basso believes the restaurant
terapia de choque literal,
is an overall positive.
I am a believer that when people hear my message, the net health benefit to society is incredibly good.
However, you won't be surprised to hear that not everybody agrees.
He's deliberately trying to get people to eat more than they need.
With this being echoed by the legendary Anthony Bourdain, who stated, there is a restaurant in Vegas, I think it's called the Heart Attack Grill, where if you're over 350 pounds you eat for free. I think that should be pretty much a war crime. On top of
que debe de ser un crimen dar comida gratis a una persona por pesar 155 kilos, pero luego dejar pasar a las mujeres gratis en un montón de sitios por el hecho de ser mujer, eso debería de ser legal. Qué hipócritas sois, tío. Qué hipócritas sois. Qué asco dais. Todo el que sea así da un puto asco que flipas, tío. Qué asco, qué ascazo que dais, tío. De verdad. Qué asco, tío.
There's a former waitress went public talking about her terrible time working at the restaurant, explaining that after a man passed out mid-meal, a manager made me take out my cell phone to record a video of the whole thing so they could send it to the media.
Que lo obligaron a grabar el propio tío del dueño o manager del restaurante, porque un tío se desmayó.
It was on a Friday afternoon.
Enviaron a los medios.
And he hoped it would make the news so they could have a busy weekend. On the opposite end of the spectrum, a different waitress stated this.
I've been here 11 years. I enjoy this way too much.
So the experience clearly depends on which person you ask. In a different instance, the PCRM sent a letter to Basso asking him to declare moral bankruptcy and close the Heart Attack Grill. However, given the restaurant earned $5.5 million in revenue last year, it seems obvious that
que en un año ha facturado 5 millones y medio, ha dicho eso. Mentira, ¿no?
Explaining that after a man passed,
I enjoy this way too much.
So the experience clearly depends on which person you ask. In a different instance, the PCRM sent a letter to Basso asking him to the Heart Attack Grill. However, given the restaurant earned
5 millones y medio de dólares en un año. Yo flipo, tío.
$5.5 million in revenue last year, it seems obvious that Dr. John...
Hostia, qué locura, tío. Aparte, hemos visto una enana en un coche dando vueltas. Ese es el mejor restaurante, lo que yo te diga. El mejor restaurante de la historia. Sí, señor. Walter, estoy contigo.